Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on LinkedIn around AI gamification. I am super excited for this. I've gotten to do several of these webinars around AI and some other things, but this gamification one is like really cool. We're going to play some games together. We're going to learn a little bit about how gamification can drive engagements for your customers, and we're going to give you some insights and clues into how to get started and how to take advantage of this really cool AI opportunity. Just a couple of quick things to cover off before we kick off with introductions. We are going to play two games today, two AI games today. And with both of these games, you're going to have the opportunity to win some prizes. So the prizes, very cool ones. I'll tell you a little bit more about those later on. But keep in mind that you will get a chance to win. To be able to win, when you register for the game, and I'll give you instructions as we get there, you're going to want to make sure you use your LinkedIn name as your player name. That way we can get back to you and give you the prizes if you're one of the lucky winners. All right. So let's go ahead and get started and have some fun, shall we? I'd like to introduce to you the great panel that we've got here to talk to you about AI gamification and how AI gamification can really make a difference in your engagement programs. So first up, I would like to introduce Craig McLeod, who is the CEO and founder of Codified Development. Craig, you want to say a few words?
Oh, thank you very much for having us today. This is something else, and I hope it all goes to plan. But yeah, I'm Craig McLeod at Codified, a boutique dev house in South Africa, and we've been in the game, the contact center / customer experience game, for nearly 20 years. And I'm kind of the excitement officer, where I just see opportunities by linking different applications and different services. And today you're going to get to explore a little bit of what we've done.
The Chief Excitement Officer. Now that sounds pretty cool. That's a title I'd like. All right. Thanks, Craig. Great to meet you. And next up, we have from Inner Reality Limited, Pete Martin. Pete?
Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Yep, my name is Pete Martin. I'm the COO and co-founder of Inner Reality. I come from a tech background, more in the telecom space originally, and in the last 4 years, I've realized some of the tech we've worked with in mobile tech, in traditional telcos, is very applicable nowadays into the mobile world for marketing initiatives. So we've got some exciting things to show you today, hopefully, about using a new form of media, which we're calling as a virtual media. It's another form of digital media to engage consumers on behalf of brands in a more fun, gamified way, to ultimately drive more conversion for them to get more customer acquisition, introduce new products, new offerings, and ultimately grow sales for those brands.
So more conversion, more sales, more customers. I mean, who can't agree with that, right? That sounds awesome. And finally, on the panel, we have Julian Dawkins, who is a product marketer from Infobip. Julian, you want to introduce yourself?
Yo, people, what's going on? It's Julian at Infobip. I look after all things AI. So I ain't got nothing sexy to say like these guys just did. I'm here very much from the perspective of giving some insights around AI gamification, right? Because it's something that we are passionate about at Infobip and something that we have on our roadmap too. So maybe there'll be some stuff coming up on that later on. But yeah, I'm here to facilitate along with the other guests as well, and share some insights from my side. So yeah, really excited to be here, and yeah, keen to get the conversation underway.
Outstanding. And I just realized I didn't introduce myself. My name is Chris Radonovich. I work for Infobip, and I am your game master today. So I'm going to guide everybody through the games and make sure that we keep the ball rolling and get through all of the exciting content and activity we've got planned here for you. So let's jump in and start to talk a little bit about AI gamification. I guess maybe we should set a foundation here, gentlemen. Let's talk about what AI gamification is, right? Who wants to define it and tell us kind of in the context of customer engagement, what AI gamification means?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going first, like just from a very definitive perspective as to what AI gamification is, right? Like what it means, and from my perspective, and I guess Craig and Pete can always chime in as well from their expertise. But for me, gamification is when you're adding like game mechanics to points, rewards, levels, to like different experiences or different activities, right? So take for example my 4-year-old, right? Whenever it's bedtime, I like to turn it into a game, right? Where we're like, okay, we're explorers climbing the mountain stairs. It's their mountain off to bed, and that is like that is playful. It's nice, but to truly gamify it, what I put behind it is I add a goal, right? I add a challenge. So I say to her, for example, for every step that we take and we see a monster, we need to shout at the monster, get to bed. It's something so simple and basic, but that is literally an example of gamifying something that could be otherwise quite tedious, right? And for her, it changes from being like bedtime activity into like, oh, this is a challenge, this is a mission that I'm on with daddy, and I want to change things up. So for me, AI gamification kind of works in the same way, where it's like you're already providing a task and a purpose, but what you're putting behind it now is the AI. So it learns about your gameplay, it learns about your preferences, and it adapts the games that you're playing to suit your level. So it always feels like a challenge at any one time. So that overall is what gamification means, what AI gamification is. And then finally, when it comes to like conversational AI, it's basically putting those mechanics, those gameplay mechanics, into the chat interfaces that we use every day, right? So the likes of into WhatsApp, into RCS, into live chat, into voice calls as well. Making sure that you're playing games where the AI is backing it up with instant communication, like for AI kind of assistance. And it's also able to guide you through the gameplay as well, as though a human would. That to me is what definitively means AI gameplay. But yeah, Pete Martin, Pete and Craig, if there's anything from your side when it comes to AI gamification, what do you think?
Can I jump in first, Craig?
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for that. I completely agree. I think people are being bombarded with digital forms of media right now. Social media is dominated engagement for the last sort of 10 to 15 years. But it's getting to the point where it's no longer fun. It's very noisy, and I've also got teenagers, and I watch them scrolling through Instagram or something, or Snapchat or something. The engagement level is literally a second per swipe, or maybe a couple of seconds per swipe. So if a brand can try and inject fun and play into that process of engaging consumers, you have the chance of having a much deeper level of engagement with that consumer. By creating games, you can really hold people's attention for long periods of time, for minutes, and that drives a lot of brand equity and brand awareness. It also it plays that with that fun-seeking element that humans have. So it brings people back again. It brings customers to keep engaging. But from an AI perspective, I think AI is really changing the game a bit, because everything's about data now. And if you can use AI to track what people like, where people are, what they play, who they share things with, what products they like more than others, which ones they actually go ahead and redeem, and you can drive a process to a gamified process on a personal level to actually engage consumers individually, you'll have a much better chance of holding their attention for even longer, keeping the fun aspect more relevant for them, and ultimately driving more relevant promotions and offers to that consumer. So from a brand's perspective, that ultimately means automating, driving increased adoption, engagement, and sales.
Yeah, too right. And
Yep.
and when it comes actually to the sales side as well, right? How it comes to an actual impact, or the trends, at least what we're seeing is that in all, global gamification is really growing, right? So I think it's scheduled to reach like mid 50 billion by 2028. And there's annual growth around 25%. So it really shows that there's appetite and there's demand around this topic. especially around adoption, right? So I think as more use cases come online, and when I say use cases, more like practical applications where gamification can be applied, you're going to find more adoption. And I think the most telling thing, and Pete just spoke about it now, the most telling thing with AR gamification is people yearn for engagement, like brands yearn for engagement from their community, and community members, users like you and me, we yearn for engagement that's relevant from our brands that we use every day. So I think that across education, healthcare, hospitality, retail, there's going to be so many different applications where gamification is used as a tool to really facilitate more intriguing and enhance engagement, and it will really hold people for a longer period of time. So yeah, for me, that's why the market size is growing. Those are some of the industry drivers behind it now as well. And I think that's super important. But Craig, I know you were going to mention something around the definition for AI gamification as well.
Oh, and I think you guys are spot on with everything. But for applications where I've used it, it's it's test, learn, fail, try again. And if anyone knows the good old Pokemon Go, it's that realm where in reality I've built an ecosystem to build your own experiences to engage with those customers with relevant data, because we all aimlessly go through social media, the likes of the Instagrams, the TikToks. You lose concentration within 20-30 seconds, and everyone has been bombarded with the same type of marketing. It's the same call to actions. It's the same, give us your data, we'll call you back, or click this thing and win this thing. Where this is actually going, wow, we're doing something slightly different, where we're engaging with the customer and giving them something back. Yes, we are potentially wanting to know more about them to potentially clean our data in a specific industry, because we want to give them a personalized experience. So, I mean, there's multiple use cases we apply this to, but specifically in my space I'm playing is more the retail and the education sector, where we're using it to make sure that someone has actually redeemed this object to learn a training material. Or if you're wanting to open a new shopping center or whatever the case is, you are enticing the person to get a free Whopper or burger and driving them to that activation or to that new premises. So it's not just us, building these things out to just mine data. We're giving back to the consumer, where they're actually happy to share certain information about themselves and drive them to a destination. So that's where I've seen gamification adds serious amounts of power, especially when it comes to brand and loyalty. That's my 5 cents in it.
Nice. So before I ask my next question, real quick, I wanted to. I see that people are scanning the QR code and starting to get in, which is fantastic. We're going to kick off the first game and guide the folks through the first game here in a couple of minutes. But remember, once you do start playing the games, make sure you use your LinkedIn name as your user ID, or else we won't be able to find you and get you the prizes if you win. So keep that in mind. We talked a bit about the value that gamification brings. I'd love to get some examples of like real business impact that we've seen from gamification, and maybe across the spaces of acquisition, retention, brand loyalty. Pete, can you give us some insights on the learnings of the successes that we've seen with gamification in the early days?
Yep, absolutely. Just to add a bit of color. So InnoReality is a team with employees in the UK and South Africa. Our main dev team that we worked with, Codified, to help us with our dev as well, is based in South Africa. So we've done quite a lot of activations in South Africa as a kind of a nice learning test bed, and we've started to grow into places like New Zealand and France and Germany and the UK as well. I think Craig hit the nail on the head. It's not just about brands trying to sell more; it's also about consumers getting more things that they want to get. So if you can incentivize a consumer to sign up to play a branded experience or game with the promise of some sort of reward that's relevant to them or meaningful to them, what we found straight off the bat is we get a lot of people happy to opt in and hand over their personal data as part of the process. We're getting as much as 90% for some brands. We've worked a lot with FMCG brands like KFC and Burger King and others, and Heineken. If people believe that they can play a game, which is a bit of fun, and there's a chance of winning two Heineken pints for the price of one, you'll find people are very happy to hand over some information about themselves. And we typically keep that online, that sort of registration process, super lightweight, usually just name and email and mobile or something, and an opt-in. And then obviously that means that we can collect information from them in the gamification process, where they are, geolocation, what sort of games they're playing, what rewards are they redeeming, are they sharing we often have a little game mechanic called share for reward. If they share the campaign with a friend or friends, they get another chance to play to try win something. So who are the people that they've shared with? You can kind of build up this very kind of valuable behavioral data set on behalf of these brands, but in a meaningful way with the consumer. So it's all about conversion, really, which identifies, if you like, that there's a mutual benefit for both brands and consumers. We've done quite a few different campaigns, and I think the key thing is the platform is a no-code platform, so it's very easy to configure a new branded campaign within a very short period of time, within hours. If we get the brand assets, we can upload, we can set the configuration required for the objectives the brand has. That could be targeting audiences at an event, if you like, to geo-targeting audiences. We've done a lot of things with sport, so rugby, cricket, those types of things, football games. And the other thing which is quite fun is we can play these sort of, if you like, dual screen kind of ideas, where when things happen in the real world, we augment it with the game. We augment a change to the gameplay in real time with what's actually happening. So as an example, at a World Cup football match, when a goal's scored, for 5 minutes, we can rain golden footballs into the stadium in AR for people to grab and first come, first serve, and trying to engage to play a game to win something. Could be, and that could be related to any type of brand that wants to target football fans. As an example, could be Heineken. It could also be clothing outlets, Adidas or something. So we play the geolocation, offering quite a lot, but we can also engage people in other ways simultaneously wherever they are. So if they're at home watching the game, we can have a different game for anybody who's not within a geo fence, to have a different experience and have different offers available to them and different rewards. So you can kind of package the game according to the brand's objectives.
Nice. I love the flexibility and the fact that you can make real-time changes and real-time decisions and enhance the game experience. I think that's really awesome. We're going to take just a moment to answer a live question from the chat before we get into the first game. And Pete, I'm sorry, Craig, maybe. Can you take this one, maybe? This is from Tom in the chat. How can marketing directors or brand managers be convinced of the benefits of gamification, especially if they don't know much about it? Like, where should they begin? Should gamification be included from the start when developing an AI assistant, or is it better introduced at a later stage once they become more familiar with using AI assistants?
Sure. Okay. So first off, data is very much relevant in this game. What I mean by that is you want to make sure that you're not just creating a campaign, getting a whole lot of data, and then not acting on it. So to answer the question is, you should be doing this as part of a strategy from inception when introducing AI agents and playing with gamification. And the main thing is, we're finding with this gamification stuff, the marketing directors that already know their means of communication, whether it's billboards, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever the jazz is, they've already got their traditional mechanisms. When we start showing actual case studies and ROIs on the activations, because we can truly see the funnel from start to finish. So we're saying, why don't we test this campaign on a small pool of people or use cases based on existing customers? So a good use case would be, you've got loyal customers, you know that they buy all the time, they might have an account with you, let's test the water. So, we do believe in the philosophy of test, learn, fail, shift, pivot, scale. So all I'm getting is, how does a marketing director get convinced by this? Firstly, need to know that silo that they're working in, and they already know the mechanisms of marketing. It's like, let's cast this massive net and send out millions of SMSs and watch the yield. Let's sign up with Meta and do all these impressions. And it's like the mechanics are all the same. It's the same impressions, it's the same bounce rates, the same conversion call to actions. We are still using those mechanics, but now that call to action is very different. It's now actually going into this AR space, or it's a spin the wheel, depending on the mobile activity, but it is very different. And it's, if you don't try, test and learn, what are we doing? Points about this exercise is innovation. And with the likes of Infobip integrated into this whole ecosystem, is that we have that first person data now. So effectively, we create a campaign, it goes through the funnel, a marketing director spending X, we can see that funnel go all the way through, goes into the AR experience, comes all the way back and gets written back into Infobip CDP. Guess what? You can actually look at your ROI, cost per lead, cost per acquisition, cost per redemption, cost per loyalty. And that, in my opinion, is kind of completing the loop that I've seen many marketing departments of that struggle to quantify, yet they just continue to spend millions on billboards and Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagrams.
Yeah. So great. Excellent answer. So, okay, talking about test and learn, let's have some fun and start playing some games. How about it, fellas? So, if you have not yet, go ahead and scan that QR code on your mobile device and get to the first landing page. Just a couple of quick comments about this. This will work better on the mobile phone than on your laptop. So I encourage you to use your mobile phone for the games. In fact, it won't work on the laptop at all. And if you are on your mobile phone for the LinkedIn, you might want to switch over to a laptop when you've got a second so that you can actually play the game. When you enter the games, keep in mind, put your LinkedIn name as your username so that if you win, we can find you. We've got great prizes from this first game. We've got one prize that's going to be drawn randomly from all of the players of the game. So make sure you use your name when you put it in. One other quick comment before we get into it. This experience was created specifically for this webinar and you as an audience. We built it just for you. You might run into a problem here and there. That kind of happens sometimes in live demos. Let us know if you do run into an issue, but but please poke around, explore it, and have some fun with it. The first thing we're going to do once you've scanned the QR code is you're going to go to the augmented reality game. It's the one with the X on it, if you can see my screen there. And you're going to go ahead and tap on that box, and it's going to take you to a WhatsApp conversation. Once you're in the WhatsApp conversation, send the first message, which will pre-populate for you, and it will get you started into the game. There we go. The first thing you're asked is your username. Once again, if you want to win prizes, use your LinkedIn name as the username. And then I'm going to actually hand it over here to Craig, who's going to guide us through the game and playing the game. So Craig, you want to take it away?
Great. So thank you for that. So fundamentally, we are playing with different devices all over the show. So please be gentle. Apple does have a way of trying to block you from accessing microphones, geolocations. So please just accept that for now. This is a demo. We do have mechanisms to prevent this, but for this sake, it does work. We have done this multiple times. But in this exercise, all we are doing is saying, right, you're on a chat platform, irrespective whether it's RCS, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, whatever the jazz may be, that we've decided to connect via Infobip. From that, we are effectively acquiring the customer by mechanisms of acquisition through WhatsApp, whether it's WhatsApp flows, whether it's just name, surname, whatever the case may be. Based on that, we have integrated deeply into InnoReality, which is this entire gamification platform, where we build this and generate this deep link where there's integration and we pass that through to InnoReality. Why are we doing that? So it is, in a way, a seamless integration with no additional sign-in mechanisms, and then we're burning that sign-in into InnoReality. Once you're in that ecosystem, you play, you redeem, you go to your wallet, and the cool part about this whole exercise is where we really changed the mechanism, and that's actually a loop back into WhatsApp. So once you have actually claimed that prize or redeemed that little widget, that virtual asset, there is a button that will say done, and then it will actually close that window and return to WhatsApp, and it should tell you there, well done for playing the game, or you've won a prize. So that's typically what we're doing on this little exercise for you guys.
Outstanding. So everybody, I hope you're enjoying the game and playing it.
Sorry, one more thing. If you see the asset dropping, you can look up. So there'll be a round circle. You've got to drop that circle onto a surface, tap on the screen, move your phone up, and then you'll see the asset dropping from the sky. Give it some time, let it rest. It'll spin around, it'll say grab, and it'll explode. And it's just showing the art of the possible.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. So while we're continuing to play the game, Julian, I wanted to reach out to you and see, what can we learn from current big names in this gameplay space? Like, who's doing this, and what kind of stuff are they doing, and what can we learn from their experiences?
Yeah, so I think there's like so many different. I was saying before, like, there's so many different applications where gamification comes into play, right? So and as well, let us know in the comments if you've just played the game, like what you think of it. I just had to go myself, and I just find it super cool each time, right? So one of the ways in which a company, a household name now that everybody knows, I think, is Temu, and they are, of course, a really large like e-commerce platform company, and they use gamification in the like the daily play, right? So they use things like spin to wheels, they use like daily check bonuses, they use referral games, and these really help to drive downloads. It helps to create a community of different players as well. So people are entering the app on a daily basis, not only to shop, which they eventually will do, but just to gameplay as well, right? And I think that's really attributed heavily towards Temu increasing the number of the number of downloads and recipients that they have. I think they were like the youngest companies that ever have an advert at the Super Bowl as well, if I'm not wrong. Like, that just shows the expense at which they've grown, and gamification is such a massive tool towards that. So gameplay is used pretty well there. Any hands up if any of you guys have been learning a new language recently, and if you use Duolingo to do so? Okay, just me then. Just me. But I guess there's many of you in the call right now who use Duolingo, and you've been using that on a day-by-day basis. Why? Because they use gamification so well. Like, going back to that story I said before, having the task already at hand, i.e. learning a new language, but putting those gaming mechanics behind it as well. And they do that really well. So people want to have these daily streaks as well. I'm sure everybody's aware of daily streaks. So how many days in a row have you committed to learning this new language? And I think that really helps with the competitive element behind it as well. All of these like gamification marketing strategies tap in to the human psyche, if you like. Like, we want to be competitive, we want to test ourselves, we want to try as best as we can and become the best that we can. And I think that these like habit forming games that these companies have been deploying recently are really synonymous now with like engagement, with returning to the app. And lastly, a company that's using it really well, and I could go into loads here. We could talk about like Pepsi, we could talk about McDonald's, but another one I want to talk about is LinkedIn, because they've introduced, I'm not sure if you've noticed recently, but they're using like this daily gameplay, like puzzles within the app. So it's kind of like shifting infobip, having like this playful element in there. You got the serious, LinkedIn to network and showcase your job roles and everything. But at the same time, it brings this like community field as well, where you can socially play with colleagues, with peers, and individually as well. And it kind of throws me back to like the old Facebook days where you could play with friends online and everything like that as well. So that's pretty cool. But actually, Craig, you've done something recently as well. So hopefully you guys can see the video fine. But maybe just give us a brief commentary on your work that you've done in this video here.
No, I'd love for Peter to actually spearhead this one, because
okay,
no problems. So just to talk about this campaign with Burger King, right?
For real, but yeah.
So this was an exciting campaign. I think most brands are typically looking to achieve maybe more than three, but I'll say three key objectives. One is to acquire new customers. One is to get existing customers to spend more on their product or products, and the other is to launch new products to grow sales through a different product channel. So knowing a little bit about what the brand wants to do, you get to what's quite fun is you can be quite creative about what sort of gamification process you want to build, and to obviously to meet those objectives. With Burger King, it was very much about them being quite a latecomer to a very competitive fast food market in South Africa. And I think they had, something like at 1/20th of the retail outlets that say McDonald's had. And there's still a few others that are much bigger than them. So it was all about firstly getting brand awareness, and secondly targeting audiences. We even had some fun where we targeted audiences at competitor stores where we could drop kind of the option to find a Burger King X in McDonald's shops and in KFC shops and things like that, which gave them a chance to win a free Whopper. So we had people literally walking into McDonald's with their phones, playing a game, smiling, walking out and crossing the road to go and get a free Whopper. So that sort of stuff makes for a lot of fun. And it was hugely successful. We had literally hundreds of thousands of people in South Africa playing this, running around, collecting, engaging, and obviously redeeming rewards. So if you can also kind of balance some offers that are discount vouchers that are still profitable, you'll find brands are very happy to give those away all day to consumers just to drive new customer acquisition and new growth, and still essentially profitable revenue. So we use that kind of mechanic to just offer as many kind of discount vouchers for different days, for different meal deals, for and also trying to help them drive more traffic in for Sunday lunch. So as opposed to breakfast or whatever seems to be their main majority target audience. So you can kind of play the gamification according to their objectives. But maybe play it through video because that'll give a little bit of a sense.
Look, who doesn't want to win a Whopper, right? I think that's like outstanding. Love it. Let's jump back to the chat for a question from the chat real quick. Craig, and maybe I wondered if you could answer this for us. The game, look, when we play the game, it's like, this is like really easy. This is kind of cool. It looks really easy. It's got to be like super complex and hard to build, right? So how do marketing directors find this? Well, do you think, actually, I should say, do you think marketing directors are going to find this too complicated, and that would be like a detractor to being able to enter gamification into their programs?
My answer would have been very different 6 months ago to a year ago to what I'm going to say now. With the advancements of where we're going with AI and all this jazz, it's going to be more of a WYSIWYG. So it'll be narrated setup. It will predefine certain parameters, and effectively we're giving a kind of a think of Facebook Business Manager. You'll have this ecosystem as that console to generate these campaigns and to create this world for that specific activation, loyalty, whatever the jazz is. So yes, I do agree to a point. Typically in a marketing agency, they still need to have their brand identity stuff down. They still got to go through certain kind of copywriting. So that mechanic still applies where you're having to go do any kind of banner ads and that jazz. Yes, typically they can give it over to an agency, but I'm also noticing there's a big shift where traditional agency work isn't really what it was, and a lot of people are doing it themselves because of these tools that are available at their discretion. So eventually we'll get to the point where the brand is created within this ecosystem from a CSS point of view, from a fonts, call it what you want. And then we can give them the platform to actually go ideate and create these campaigns. You test it in the framework, and if you're happy, go publish it.
Nice. I love it. Plug and play with a little bit of marketing customization for your brand, and you can have a game live quickly and start engaging and driving up that value that gamification brings. That's awesome. Sounds super easy. I'm glad that your experience has reinforced that.
I'm going to just highlight there. it will be with this modification.
It will be super easy.
So
All
I don't
right,
want to.
But can I just add a little bit of content to that as well? In
Sure.
terms of the complexity. So, I mean, Craig, you touched on this, that, you know, there are more complicated games and less complicated games. We've kind of built a template, if you like, for different types of scenarios, different types of options available. They can be super simple. They can literally be, you know, a deep link personalized offer sent via in-app, or, you know, or through, you know, in this case, WhatsApp as a key business channel, to just send someone straight away some sort of reward. It doesn't even need to have gamification, like, or many or complicated gamification mechanics. So you know, there are options to make it super simple or much more engaging, long-term, sort of fun, in a kind of a reward type offering. And obviously, this game is using WhatsApp to trigger the you know, the personalized gamification aspect. It's clear that WhatsApp's taken off hugely, right, for business. There's already over 2 billion users globally, and businesses are now adopting WhatsApp as one of their main channels for engaging their consumers, for, you know, lots of reasons, for support processes, for kind of introducing new products, but also now for, you know, for promoting new offers and rewarding their customers. So this is a natural evolution, if you like, of extending that opportunity, if you like, into a gamified one for brands.
Nice. All right, so it is time to play our second game. So the next game is the vocalize game. So go back into your QR code and into your landing page. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the vocalize game. Go ahead and tap on that and open that up. Now, this one is super exciting because we're going to give 2 prizes out to the 2 top scores in the vocalize game. So very important. I'm going to hand it over to Julian in a second. He's going to take us through the game. Make sure you put your LinkedIn username in as the username for the game. And then the highest score that we get between now and the last couple of minutes of the webinar, the highest 2 scores are going to get some cool prizes, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. And in case you haven't guessed, they might be related to this car right over my shoulder here on the screen. So we'll see. All right, Julian, you want to take us into the vocalize game?
Yeah, man. Let's go for it. And Chris, it's not just you with a fancy car. Don't forget, Craig's got one personally inside his housemate. Yeah. So, but yeah, for sure. So, Craig, Pete, maybe cover your ears for a second or two, because what I'm about to say is a bit offensive. This vocalized game is probably my favorite AI conversational game. Don't tell the others, please. Thank God I'm safe in London from those boys. Well, listen. With the game that Chris just described to go and enter, it's a really good game. It's a voice activated AI game over WhatsApp. So what you want to do is of course use your mobile for this, and what it's going to be triggering you or probing you to do is to basically say a keyword phrase, which is going to be "I love AI." So you're going to use the voice note part of your call, where you can just press the voice record button, and you're going to say the phrase "I love AI." What we want your sound wave to look like is reminiscent of what's on screen now, of the London skyline, because why not London, right? I'm here live in London, so I thought let's make it the London skyline, right? So your sound wave has to match that of the image you see on the screen now, just by saying that phrase. Now, the real cool magical part of this is that the AI comes into play, because it's able to take the contour of your sound wave and match that against the control image and give you a score. So every time you're saying this "I love AI" and submitting that, it's really quickly behind the scenes comparing the two, and giving you a score. So you should get basically an instant score from the AI assistant to tell you your place right now, where you lie. You second, you third, you somewhere further down, and also it will give you a score too. So have like 2 or 3 plays about with it, see how well you can do. And as Chris mentioned, the top 2 highest scorers will receive some really cool prizes. So this really is a nice novelty AI gameplay, and we've been using that in for BitPat at different events and conferences. And I have to say, there's such a buzz when you walk past a booth and you just see people like on their phones talking into it, saying a keyword phrase. It really brings excitement to the floor, right? And I think it's a really good way to connect with that brand. So just walking past as a passive person into becoming, I really think your brand's cool because I've been able to play this game. It's so easy for everyone to play. It's super lightweight as well, so it's very intuitive to play too. So we find that this is something super cool. So let us know in the comments if you managed to play, what you think of it as well. It should be really accessible for everybody to get to. Going back to the mechanics of it as well, I think we were talking about engagement at the top of the call, and this kind of gameplay is super for participation rates because there's no friction, it's easy to join, and it longevity wise it brings really good brand equity as well to a brand, because now you look playful, now you look fun, now you look like a really innovative, cool to play company that wants to interact with people. So as I mentioned, InfoBips uses at a series of our own events and on conferences to really good feedback. Chris, you had it recently over in Phuket as well, right? You played this game too, so I know you know how good this one is. But yeah,
I
again,
love AI.
what was your score
I'm
on that
sorry.
one?
You asked me a question. I was playing the game. Actually, everybody, you can play it multiple times. So go ahead and continue playing. And hey, share your scores in the chat here. We'd love to see how everybody's doing. I think I'm doing pretty good. I might actually win the prize. I love AI.
You keep going, mate. You just put yourself on mute.
I'm telling you, I did a workshop in Thailand with 50 organization leaders for customers out there, and this game was like huge. You should have seen the people run, screaming and talking to their phones and testing this out and doing it over and screaming when they got a really good score. And we partnered it with a couple other really cool games in the space, and the engagement for the 90-minute session was out of this world. It really was a fantastic way to get people engaged and get them involved and really drive some energy in those engagements.
Yeah.
So very cool stuff.
And Chris, it's not only just we're talking about it as if this is like an infant product per se, right? How this AI gamification comes into play, but actually, if everybody can see on the screen now, there's a video of how a very well-known brand, maybe one of the biggest household brand names in the world, Coca-Cola, used the same vocalized game for a campaign in South America, right? So this was in Brazil, and they'd done a Christmas campaign where people had to do exactly the gameplay as everybody's doing right now, speaking into the phone with a key phrase, but your sound wave had to match that of a Coca-Cola bottle. How cool is that, right? So this was a campaign to build up brand equity, have a playful side of the brand, and just bring about this real nice festive spirit that everybody could participate in during this time of year. So you can see some of the results on the screen now, like in terms of tens of thousands of different players that they had, and the overall field and feedback that they had from their end users too. They really created like this community that were able to play with the game, and Coca-Cola were able to augment something like 12 million different voice records on the back of it. So massive campaign, and it just shows you the power of AI gamification in play as well. It's accessible. It's personalized. People could message and speak with the AI afterwards as well to say, hey, how could I improve my score, or what am I doing wrong, or can you give me that can you give me the control image again? I don't think I'm doing too well. But overall, it's a fun, playful thing to do. And I think the main thing is, and maybe you're seeing it as people play the game now, it's competitive. Like you want to improve on your score, you want to keep going again and again at it, and I think that's the most fun thing. It's doing gamification in a really cool, controlled, safe way as well. It's not something that's going to become eat up your day, let's put it that way. So real cool play there from Coca-Cola using this AI vocalized game.
Yeah, so Julian, you talk about being able to pull people in, and so it kind of makes me think about accessibility and like how can we be more engaging and draw more people in ways that are more accessible to them. You want to share a little bit about maybe the different channels you can leverage for this, the different use cases and the experience that we've seen here at InfoBip with using gameplay beyond the great one I had in Thailand.
Yeah, I think it's an important question, right? Like accessibility. One of the ways in which we've been playing today, right, has been over WhatsApp, right? So that is just one channel in which you can participate different games on. But in order to make it accessible to as many people as possible, right, you need to have gameplay on different channels. So we're looking at the likes of RCS coming up now that has so many different capabilities within it, visual, the sending of like emoticons, etc. That again creates a whole different channel for a segment and cohort of people to play within as well. I think the way in which to make it accessible is to make the game as intuitive and as streamlined as possible, so that it doesn't need that kind of like back and forth friction as to what are the rules again, or what exactly do I go about playing it. That's how you get dropout. That's how you get fall off. So I actually put it now onto Craig and Pete. When it comes to designing these kind of games, what things should we be keeping in mind from the back end to make sure that the gameplay is as synonymous and seamless as possible?
Can I jump in a little bit, Craig?
Sure.
Thanks. So I guess just sort of following through on a little bit what I was saying earlier. Obviously, the objectives of the brand have to play a role. What are you trying to achieve for the brand? What are the most important metrics they're trying to track and improve? So obviously, catching sort of GDPR compliant customer data is a key one, as an example. So you build that into the start of the journey. And if you're trying to onboard new customers, you need to have multiple channels to get people into that gamified experience. So that can include using, QR codes at out-of-home advertising, or or using the sort of share for reward mechanic to get people to share the game with others. So there's kind of different elements, if you like, that are a part of it. But then, as part of the gamification component itself, leaning on into the sort of fact that people like to try win something, they like to be part of a competition. We often have the basic stuff, as you mentioned, Timu. They use it very effectively with the spin to win mechanic. There's digital scratch cards. There's even we've even built in kind of branded games. As an example, with the South African cricket, we built a cricket game. So when people were trying to win something with KFC at cricket matches, they had to play a little cricket game, try it a 6 or a 4, to then open up the reward that they're trying to win. So you can, we can add multiple game mechanics according to the objective, obviously, but also the target audience.
Nice. So I wanted to kind of change directions just a little bit, Pete, and I'm going to come back to you on this. So we talked a lot about acquisition and about growth and about bringing new customers in and sales, right? But gamification can help across the whole funnel, right? So help me understand a little bit more about how we can how the mechanics shift from acquisition to retention, and how we can use gamification to retain customers.
Absolutely. So, I mean, once you've got a customer base that you're trying to re-engage, the gamification should have some form of loyalty play. Sometimes that includes, play multiple times in a week or a month to open up a special reward. Sometimes it also involves collecting using the AR component or idea, collecting different parts of a reward, which could be a golden key that we drop outside someone's house, and then the treasure chest, which is at the retailer, outside all the retailers or something. So once they bring those two things together, it opens up a special reward, and then they hopefully are already at the location to drive footfall and redemption. So, but certainly, this is part of the fun of gamification. The ideas are limited by your imagination, right? and AI is becoming increasingly beneficial for this experience, because AI is helping us create new games and new experiences now on the fly. So we can be very, very kind of ingenuitive, if you like. Does that sort of answer the question?
Yeah, I think it does. Thanks. It's you know what, it's I think about all the different ways that brands try to retain customers through things like loyalty programs and other things, and you know, being able to play something engaging and fun and win prizes and things like that, I think are just like, it's a super cool way to continue that engagement, right? You started something really great when you brought that customer in, then being able to continue various games and various awards to drive continuous involvement and engagement with the brand, I think is super cool, and people are into it. And you know, as we see in the chat, you know, hard but fun, right? It's like people are really engaged in playing the game. And for all of those of you who are still playing the vocalized game, please keep playing. Just a couple more minutes, and we're going to pick the top two and give some prizes out, some cool prizes related to, I gotta get the right finger here, related to that car over my shoulder. Maybe we'll see in a couple of seconds. But really, we have kind of time for one more quick question before we announce those winners. So I'd like to kind of expand into the hyper personalization space here. So so Julian, maybe you know, agentic AI is like the hottest topic out there, right? Everybody's talking about it. How do we leverage agentic AI and data to drive personalization, especially hyper personalization in gamification? I mean, I assume it's like super engaging when you can make that connection. So how do we do that?
Mate, I think the way that we go about doing it is what Craig said at the top, right? And Pete mentioned it as well. It's all in the data. So it's about making sure that you have really grounded and accurate data sources which will really inform how the gameplay goes from there. Because you can do as much tweaking, as much research behind the game, make it super competitive, make it super sticky as well. But it has to be grounded in really rich data, and that's how you go about providing these hyper personalized experiences. And when I mention data, it's about knowing things like you're collecting the preferences of the user, asking the right questions at the start, not just, you know, username. You know, we've been doing some nice gameplay today, but if this were a full experience, then we'd be asking for richer, deeper information about each individual participant. It's about knowing the locality as well, so learning as much as possible about the gameplay, and then using that as a, like, first phase, and getting them to play with the game and learning, training the model, the AI model, the agentic framework as to this person's gameplay as well, so that you're always providing an experience where it's really challenging, and it's, you know, it's really meeting their motivations and their behavioral language as well, right? So I think that is how you go about making things hyper personalized. In terms of the agentic side of things, agentic is all about making autonomous agents carry out tasks as if it were a human, right? So it could be things like the conversations that we as users have with the AI when we're speaking with it via WhatsApp or RCS, however, right? Asking those questions around the gameplay. So really using people's imagination to drive the gameplay. We have a game now where it's almost like Dungeons and Dragons-esque, but over WhatsApp. Imagine that, right? Where the participant is always speaking to the AI bot to say, "Hey, look, this is my next move. This is where I want to be. This is what I envision the next like sequence of gameplay to be," and that's happening all over WhatsApp, but it's handled by an agentic framework, which means that it's able to react like a human and really augment the entire experience on the user's behalf, right? So first, ground it in data. Make sure you're learning and retraining the model always on each user's behavior, and that's how you're going to make it hyper personalized. That's how you're going to make it super exciting, and that's how you're going to make really standout experiences each and every time for that individual, to make sure that they come back and that they're sticky, and also that they advocate for your brand as well.
Love it. I love it. I love that hook. Let's pull them in and keep them. I love it. Personalization, agentic AI. Way to
For
go.
sure. And
So,
Chris, Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm ready to get to the thing that everybody's waiting for. But if you have something else, Julian, I'll
No.
hold up.
Let's announce, man. Let's announce.
So hey, it's time to announce the winners of the game. So super excited about the prizes here. So we are going to award 2 gifts to each of 3 winners. Each winner, 1 winner from randomly selected from the first game, and then the top 2 scores from the vocalized game will receive a Haas InfoBip t-shirt. So InfoBip recently announced our sponsorship of the Haas American Formula One racing team. Right there over my shoulder, and we're super excited about it. We're working on a very exciting fan experience for the Haas organization that will engage fans throughout racing, race day, as well as leading up to and following up on races. So it's super exciting experience and a fun partnership that we've created with Haas, and we're really excited about it. So our prizes are a Haas T-shirt and a Haas race car Lego set. If we can go to the next slide, please, we'll see that. And so 1 randomly selected winner from the first game. I'm going to hand it over to Pete to announce our winner. Drum roll, please.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we used a random generator out of all the players. So well done to Tanisha. You know who you are, based in Dubai, and your phone number finishes in 8517. So the InfoBip team will reach out to you.
Outstanding. Congratulations, Tanisha. And in Dubai, super exciting. There's a big race there, so that's actually really fitting. Awesome. And so congratulations. Now let's move on to the winners of the second game. We're going to give 2 prizes out. Once again, it's the top 2 scores of the vocalized game. Both of you will get the InfoBip Haas t-shirt and the Lego set. So I'm going to hand this one over to Julian. You want to give us the winners, Julian?
Yo, you know, Chris, it is so tight. I've literally had to redo it again to find out the top 2 winners because it's coming like everybody's done so well. And just in terms of scores, there's been number of participants. On average, everyone's on about 10 attempts. So everyone's been really competitive around this one. But however, we have the numbers in finally. So without further ado, in second place, well done to Ankur Singh. You done very well. You came in at second place, and in number 1, shout out to James Drudge. If that's your last name, hopefully I didn't butcher it. But congratulations to you, James. So James and Anchor, you'll be contacted by the InfoBip team for your prizes.
Outstanding. So, and you know what? I've been watching the chat, and Encore was trying really hard to get into those top 2, and he actually did it. Way to go, Encore. Good job. So congratulations to all of our winners. We will be reaching out to you through LinkedIn to connect and arrange delivery of your prizes. And thank you for being so energetic about playing the game and participating, and super excited about it. We're approaching the end of our time together here. So I hope that all of you who joined the webinar kind of got a good taste of what gamification is and how it can be leveraged to really drive engagement. And I think we saw that a lot here when we talk about over 10 attempts on average to try and get that top score. So a great way to engage, a great way to pull customers in and then retain them and keep them long-term through gamification and a fun experience. The vocalized game and the inner reality game will continue to stay live. If you want to go back and play some more with it, you can. Unfortunately, no more prizes after this. The prizes are only for the live session. But please feel free to go ahead and continue to play those and enjoy them. Stay tuned, of course, for our upcoming live series about CXOP, or the Customer Experience oh my gosh, I forgot that. Orchestration, thank you. Orchestration platform.
Too much gameplay for you, Chris.
Special thank you to Pete Martin from Inner Reality and Craig McLeod from Codified, and of course Julian Dawkins from Infobip for bringing all the energy and excitement and knowledge, and for bringing the games for us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And thank you to everybody who participated and joined and hopefully had a great time with this. Please keep the gamification going and engage with your customers and have a good time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pete. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.